Ready? Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Approval of the minutes. I had a couple little minor things. Under the second reading of the pet ordinance, it says adding an additional penalty for animals found at large. It should be adding an increased penalty for failure to comply with provisions of this ordinance. Beyond page 2. And I can give you this, John, I've got it written here.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like the top of page 30.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, I think we had talked about, quotes. It says here quotes from Sanford and Medica Health Insurance. I know Kit had said something about United Healthcare too, so,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Those are the only two I have. You can have that as well. Oops.
I move that we approve the May 9th meeting minutes.
I'll
Meeting
second.
minutes.
Okay, a second.
With the changes, of course.
With changes.
Okay. Any further discussion on that? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
yes. Artwork on loan from the LNC Interpretive Center. Assuming that's you.
That is me.
Okay.
And we've already hung them, but this is a loan to the city after conversations with some of the city employees about maybe sprucing up City Hall. The Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center had some pieces in their collection that are now on loan. Hung them last week. Hopefully they'll entice either residents or future residents to research and maybe pique their interest about Washburn's history. And so I try to pick things that are appropriate to the site. These are on a long-term loan, have an agreement that's signed with the city. There's no there's no cost or insurance necessary for them, so they'll be on display as long as you wish them to be here.
Thank you.
Are they ever going to change out with other ones, or just?
I could rotate some
Just
if you'd
curious.
like.
Yeah. Just
These are the most
Yeah, very
appropriate
nice.
to the site,
very nice.
to Washburn's.
Very nice.
We are very, very appreciative of it. It completes our building and definitely tells the history of our place that we have here in Washburn. So thank you very much.
Yep.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan from Circle.
Would you like to sit here? Or
Yeah, come on up.
All right. Thanks for getting me on your schedule.
Sure.
Just kind of a couple things that I thought I'd come to the council about. We're nearly 2.5 years into serving the city of Washburn, and just
No,
Basic-
about 2.5.
About a year.
a year and a half. That's right. Yeah, a year and a half. But well, I was thinking about halfway through the.
Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking, a lot of times our contracts are 5 years, this is a 3-year, and so it's a year and a half, that's right. So yeah, we're a year and a half in, and I wanted to make sure to come and see how things are going, so that you don't just see me when it's contract time. I'm trying to do that to all the towns. And we recently had the city cleanup, and this was the second one that we've done now. Second year that we've done it, and I just want to see how you think it went, and if there's things we can improve, if there's issues with our service, equipment or anything like that, whether you're here on the residential side, the commercial side. Just basically want to give you the opportunity. I know you always have the ability to call and if there's little things here or there, but sometimes it's nice to have somebody here at the meeting and see how we're doing.
I do know, I've noticed that your drivers, pull up very nicely, and they don't come screeching up and slam to a halt and then once you're taken off, which I really like.
Yep, and
Yeah,
your
I'm
drivers,
very
if there's
excited.
something that falls out of the truck or whatever, they'll actually get out and pick it up if they see it. I've seen that before. Turk, did you see anything over cleanup? Did everything go well, or?
Yeah, everything went pretty well. There's a few things left over, decking and stuff from porches and stuff.
Yeah, there were some, as I talked to them earlier today and heard about it over the weekend too, there were some major construction projects that were kind of, I guess, we felt they were a bit more than just your normal cleanup of throwing things out. Somebody said it looked like there was a room just, everything just kind of thrown and piled out, sheet rock and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw that pile.
And then the one, they said there were two places where there were decks that were just completely all thrown out, and one of them had called, and we said, no, that's, that's a bit more than the average amount. But the one guy I talked to said, he goes, yeah, I picked up some pretty decent wood piles, we wanted to try to do the best we can, show that we're willing to take a considerable amount. It's just there is a somewhat of a limit on that.
Right.
And one of the things that I remember that you had an issue with before, and I've had my driver watch for this, and I know he was kind of did another assessment as he went around earlier this winter, probably in February or March. But I know one of the issues you guys had was cans getting broken and not being replaced. And so I told him, if you have some, you see that the wheels are broke or if they're getting kind of crunched. And he checked a bunch of them, and I think over in Washburn he fixed a lid on one. There was he needed to replace, but there really hasn't been too many. They've been pretty careful with the cans. But if you know of anybody that has some that's broke, let us know, because that's another thing. We don't want to wait until contract renewal time before we replace them all, and just to try to put a show on it, because people need to see that that they can roll them in and out easy and that they're not a burden to them. And then we were contacted shortly after the bid started from a company out of Bismarck that wanted to know if we minded if people contracted with them that they would clean them. I asked him about his process, and I said, well, that doesn't sound like it hurts the can any. So if it gives people a good impression about having a can that doesn't stink, that they want, that's fine with me. So I don't know how many he contracted with to do it, but
He approached the commission.
Right.
Was that the same individual?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think we said it was okay, right?
As long
As long as it was okay with
As
them.
long
Yeah.
as you guys.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, he never came back.
oh,
Yeah,
really?
never-
He's not doing it?
I never did see a flyer personally.
No.
Okay. So maybe that, I never did follow, I never followed up to see if he was actually doing it. I just assumed if he was gonna get hired by some residents, that it would be something he would be taking care of himself. Wasn't really anything we had to deal with. But-
Yeah, we directed him back to you.
Yeah, I
That's
appreciate
your
that.
Property.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I asked him about the process and stuff. Sounded like he had it set up where it's in an enclosure and he sprays it out with pressure washer, it collects the water as it goes.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was gonna almost follow behind the trucks on garbage day, so. But if it didn't work, that's fine. But, so is, as far as, I know the one concern was with the streets. There was another thing that we were kind of making sure that our trucks, we did put some lift axles and stuff on. Well, one of the trucks got a lift axle and they're using that one, unless that's being worked on or something. But especially your springtime is the worst. And any problems with any of the issues with the streets? Okay.
I haven't received any complaints.
No.
And personally, myself, I've been very pleased by everything.
I agree.
It's pretty consistent too. I know the time at the house, it seems like it's always early and not at the same time. So.
And I forgot
Yeah, no
to put my
complaints.
can on one day, and I called you guys up, and they zoomed back around and picked it up, so that was really nice.
Yeah, and one of the things that we realize, if people just put the garbage out and then go get their can and don't have to think about it, there's nothing there that caught their attention, then we're doing our job. It's when they notice something that,
Right.
they didn't get cleaned out well enough, or, emptied out, or something wedged, or they missed it, or something like that, that's a frustration. But most people just expect to put it out, and they go back and it's empty, and as long as that keeps happening, there's no problem. But it's good to hear that he is keeping the time pretty close.
Yeah.
There's always variations with road conditions and things like that that can make that a little off. But so everything as far as
Yeah.
good? Okay.
Yes.
Well,
I have a quick question. What's the average life of one of the totes?
well, we've had some we've been using for over 6-7 years. that and we've never brought in to replace, so we don't really know yet. You know, we haven't used them in, you know, we've been in business now almost 37 years, but we didn't get those until, you know, probably.
The gray ones that we have.
Yeah, and it might have been even a little longer than that. We might have had some of the first ones out there about 6 to 7 years, but we don't have to replace them just over a certain period of time. It's
Okay.
just how they're, depending on how they're used and that, and over time, I guess we'll kind of see when we start noticing a turnaround. But other than that, they've stood up very well. But I'm always willing to come back, if you ever need, just let me know, and hopefully I'll make a round again before the next contract's up, or this contract's up. But yeah, I appreciate any feedback that makes us do a better job.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you for the good service, we appreciate it.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
McLean County Law Enforcement Contract.
Larry, I had updated the agenda for the sales and use tax.
Oh, okay.
You can come back to it if you want. but
Yeah,
it's
I'll
on
come back
there.
to it, okay. So it looks like there's an increase of, what is it? You know what the increase is, Joan?
5%? It's a 5%
Is it
increase.
5%?
The current contract is 147.
Oh, yeah.
Is this something we want to act on today, or since Kit's gone, I guess it doesn't matter to me.
Well, I mean, what
Yeah.
else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
You know,
I just wanted to bring that up since it is his portfolio. But I'm good either way.
so this is commenced on January 1st, 2018, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, I suppose they would like to know as soon as they can.
It's by July 1st.
Is it? Okay. We can sure act on it. I'll make a motion that we accept the police contract of 2018.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion? I think we really should talk to them about, you know, when they're patrolling the streets to watch, like, for overparked vehicles and stuff like that, you know.
Trailers,
Yeah,
yeah.
some of them never move. But,
So this is a 5% increase?
Correct.
yeah.
And then normally, typically, what do we see for increases? Is that,
In 15 and 16, between 15 and 16, there was not an increase. It stayed the same for those 2 years. And so this is the first jump since 14.
Joan, what's the contract price now?
147 plus an extra.
Any other discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Please?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
yes. Okay. Oh, artwork on loan again? That's my other, I'm on the wrong page, so I've got the old agenda in front of me. Okay. Sales and use tax approval. Get a sales and use tax meeting today. Recommended approval for the Sioux Ferry repair, $3,000 coming from the Community Development Infrastructure.
That was approved?
Yes,
Okay.
approved for recommendation. So we need a motion from the city to do that. Okay.
To
Do a
apply
second?
the 3,000 to the Sioux Ferry.
Okay. Do a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Keith?
Aye.
Please?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Yes. Okay, and then for, we had originally requested 90,000 for the street patching and seal coat add-ons. But we got a new, where is it? A new total calculation on that. So it's actually more. See if I can find it here. Unless you have yours handy, Joan.
So for the seal coat, the total amount of the request would be $83,393. And that includes the change order of $39,600 and 25,000 engineering and 10% contingencies of 16,000. And then the total bid for the patching, total bid patching cost is the 25,876. And then with engineering and contingencies, that total cost comes to 33,963.
And I have a breakdown here if you want to see it. There was, you know, when we had discussed this, there was some stuff that wasn't on there, like engineering for one. What else?
That was it.
Oh.
I mean, we just, when we were at the last meeting, we were talking just construction costs, and
Yeah.
we were kind of adding numbers up on the fly there, so this was just kind of a more comprehensive look at it, and we were just missing the engineering side of it.
But then, you know, what we did at the sales and use taxes, we amended those figures to reflect this. So, it was recommended to approve $33,963 from the community development streets for street patching. And then it was also recommended $83,893 for the seal coating with amendment from the street development, or the community development streets also. So those would have to be two separate motions. You see where we're getting those figures from?
So 33 and then the 83.
Yes.
Right, right.
What's the exact amount on the 33,960, did you say?
963. 33,963 would be for the patching.
Oh, okay. And then 83,
And seal coat,
okay.
83,890.
I move that we approve the sales and use of $33,963.
Okay, for the patching. Okay, wait a second.
Second that.
Okay, any discussion on that? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we use the $83,893 for the seal coat from the sales and use.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay, any discussion on that? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Yes. Also, I guess, I'll bring this up now. There was a patch that got missed, and that's right by 83 Express, you serve, kind of when you're coming off the highway there, if you've seen that spot. I had Jasper look at it when he came to town today. I just figured $4,230 to patch that spot. It's a pretty good sized spot.
What is the cost again?
$4,230.
Is that included in the information you gave us today?
No.
That we have?
So, I think that's something we need to deal with, and we should get fixed, you know, right away. with this project. I would imagine we have some funds somewhere to pay for that.
Roughly 4,000 for that patch,
Right.
or that's it.
What kind of budget do we have in our streets? I suppose you don't know, Joan. There should be something in there.
We do,
I think.
yeah, yeah. In the general fund, yes.
Yeah.
When are they coming?
End of May, early June.
So that's where we're at right now.
So tomorrow?
Early June, first week in June, is what he's been saying.
Um,
So potentially if we don't act on it, they would come and go and we'd miss it.
Right. I don't know, what's everybody think?
Well, it wasn't the patch they were supposed to seal coat and they just missed. Did
No.
we pay for this
This,
already?
no, this was different.
Okay.
This was different, yeah. Yeah, it got missed when, went around and looked at spots.
I see.
Well, I'll make the motion that we add that to our list. That patch for $4,230.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that?
So then the funds for that patch come out of the general?
Jim, what street maintenance, wouldn't it be Joan? or-
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
And I guess 3,000 of it, I mean, that's what I included the contingencies there for. So you had $3,088 in contingencies factored into your 1 cent sales tax request, so that's 3/4 of it.
So, yeah, really, it might be a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Oh, so it might be like $1,000.
Yeah. I guess it will just be whatever it is.
Yeah, might as well do it when they're here.
Okay. Keith,
Aye.
please?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Snow catchers and downspouts?
After Charvet Construction finished up with the memorial building, he gave me a call and recommended that we put on snow catchers and downspouts. He said he was very concerned about the lack of snow catchers with the air conditioning units being at the bottom of the now very slippery roof, as well as any cars that are parked below it. So
It'll be for the gutters, the downspouts seem okay. I think that's the,
What is a snow catcher?
that'll
Okay,
just
that's a
be
Google
a,
that.
Piece of metal that sits up there, so
Yeah.
it doesn't all come off in a big chunk.
it prevents
Oh,
that
yeah.
slide off a metal roof. Once that roof heats up, that snow will just
Oh,
run
I
on
see
you.
what you
and
mean.
Slows it
Ice, there's a safety piece to it.
Okay.
Vehicle damage, personal hazards.
And I'm sorry, yeah, it's the gutter, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
not the
so
downspout.
they replace gutters and then install those snow catchers. That bid price is $3,225. The downspouts seemed okay to him.
And this will be on both sides. How often do they put those snow things? They do it on every rib, or?
I guess I don't know the attachment points, but it should run the whole length. I would think it runs the whole length of that. You commonly see it above
Of your
doors and
or-
things like
Yeah,
that, but on
yeah.
this building with people parking and then the air conditioners,
Yeah.
there's a lot of, they probably run it the whole way.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming on the other side, Joan, too, it was full. Because on the other side, that snow could run into the other building, I would imagine.
Well, this is for both sides, right?
I move that we approve the $3,225 for the snow catchers and gutters for Charvet Construction. Is that right?
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Yes.
Did you say for $3,000?
You said $3,225.
Thanks for
Okay.
Memorial Hall kitchen project, table from last month.
Yeah, if you go to page 13, yeah, it's just a write-up. We have some interested residents, Linda Levy, Carla Klein. They're looking at upgrading the Memorial Hall basement kitchen, which is always great when residents want to get involved. So I have some ideas, replacing cabinets, countertops, and an exterior fan. They're willing to put numbers together, and then one suggestion they had was to have fundraisers by each group that uses that kitchen. So I think we encourage that, ask for them to go and put something together. I think that's a benefit, and then quite possibly budget some money for a project like this for next year. Just open for general discussion. There's really no voting piece here.
I'd be okay with that.
I would too, yeah, I like that idea.
You don't need a motion on anything.
I don't think so unless the group thinks.
No, they wanna put something together, that'd be great.
Yeah, and after they do that, you know, Linda and Carla, maybe we could have them come to one of the next meetings and we could talk in more detail. So it's more for information. But this is what we want. I think this is really good.
Oh, yeah.
To have that engagement.
And it definitely needs it. Okay, awesome. Wi-Fi at Memorial Building, also tabled from last month, or last meeting.
Yeah, there was an idea to provide Wi-Fi service to the Memorial Hall as an added amenity when individuals use that. Noelle, if you have any other?
I guess I was part of the Marketing Hometown America study that was just going on, and, you know, it was kind of discussed that we feel that building is underutilized at this point, and in order to get more people to wanna use that building, we may need to provide something like that. I mean, it's a pretty common thing, I
Yeah.
guess.
I guess my thought is I just, you know, I could see the need if there was more usage, you know. And maybe it would draw in, I don't know, but.
I guess I don't think it would hurt to try.
What type of price would we be talking about? Did we have something on here?
I think it was $45 a month. You know, on another side of that also is if you're in the it could somewhat be a safety benefit also, because if you're in the basement of the Memorial Building or actually even on the upstairs, there is not cell service in the building. So for people to know where the telephones are at, the one telephone is locked up in the basement. And then they would need to know, you know, the others are where they're at, so.
But
Could
would
help
the
with
Wi-Fi
those.
give you phone service?
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi calling?
Yep.
I suppose, I mean, is that how most people have their phones set up?
I have that at my house, set up that way.
Do you?
Mhm.
I wouldn't know, I have a dumb phone.
Yeah, so in response to that, if it were more utilized, this would make sense. But in this, from this view, this makes sense to engage people to use the building. So I think it's a great idea that Noelle had brought to the table.
Okay.
So at $45 a month, you know, maybe through the summer months we try that and see, you know, it can't hurt to try. I'd make a motion to install Wi-Fi at the Memorial Building. See what happens.
And since we have telephone service there already, I don't think there's additional fee, right? Since
She
the
just
system
said
is
it
already
would
in
be about
place.
$45 extra a month.
But I mean, like, there's no, like, connection fee or anything for them to install
Not that
anything
I'm
else,
aware
right?
of.
Is that West River or who is?
West River, yes.
You got a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any further discussion? I mean, I know West River's upgrading everything, you know, and with those new boxes that guy talked about.
One discussion point would be the password for that Wi-Fi, because you would want it semi-secure with the password changing every couple weeks or however that looks. We can set that up through West River, but that's,
I guess, if you have, say, a function going on, why don't you just give the password out to the people? I
Right.
mean, everybody walks in the door, you give them the password, or what?
Yeah.
You can have
you
it
probably have
posted. For instance, I went to training in Maryland and it was a campus and they would just have the password on the computer or like on the TV screen.
Oh, I see.
And then like every so many weeks, it would just
Just
change.
change.
So you just had to change it in your phone or your iPad or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what hotels, I think, are too, a lot of them. They change them.
with that, we'd likely advertise that in the paper or just in the hall. What does the group think about that?
I think just in the memorial building, we would have a sign, password is this.
As far as the service, just the service
Oh,
being there,
okay.
in general, I'm sorry.
I think we can do our standard modes of communication. We have our access channel, our website.
Put on the new sign.
Yeah.
Can do that too.
And I think too is, like you say, it might be helpful to get some groups in if you say that, you're gonna be able to get Wi-Fi on your computer so you can have bigger meetings and things like that.
It has, now that you say that, we have had some businesses or groups that wanted to have meetings down there, and the lack of Wi-Fi was a hindrance, because everything's just right on the computer, and we didn't have access, so.
And even just one rental a month would take care of that, right?
Now, one question too is, will the routers that West River put in there, or whatever they called,
One rental
how
a
many,
month.
how many computers can
Oh,
you
per
have?
month,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Because
see.
if you're only gonna be able to have 15 computers, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh, like for example, if, let's say West River just puts a normal router in there, or whatever it's called, I'm not real computer literate. But how many computers can you have hooked up to that router on just a normal one? Because I know on ours, if we have 10 devices, it slows it down. So if we're only gonna be able to have 10 devices before it slows down, we might be defeating the purpose.
Well, now that you guys are entertaining the
Yeah.
idea, we can look into it over the next couple of
Okay.
weeks and come back at the next commission meeting and have all of those particular questions
Okay.
answered, and then.
Just make sure we have one that's enough work,
Sure.
quite
Because
a
then we
few.
can ask on installation prices to make sure that's all ironed out.
So do we want to table this then, rather than vote on it, or what do we want to do? Since we don't have prices, or no capacity, or?
Right, I think we vote on it now and then table it for next time, right? Because we did second it, I think.
Or you can just rescind your motion. That's just easier, probably.
Yeah, I think we need more information. I rescind the motion
Okay.
for the Wi-Fi.
Till next meeting, okay.
And that's
Good
just so we
idea,
can
though.
ask
Yeah.
about
Yeah, that makes
the
sense.
users and
Yeah.
that, so.
That's good.
Water cooler replacement, Memorial Building.
Yeah, we had requested bids for replacing the fountain in the Memorial Hall. The idea was maybe to move it over by the bathrooms, but these bids are just to replace the current one. The current one is quite old. The buttons and panels are sticking, and so it's not really trustworthy to leave on and valved in case it would actually flood out the floor. So the two bids that you see, page 14, there's a bid from Levy's Plumbing, and then 15 Northern Plains had a separate bid. I do believe that was it, Joan, two bids. That's just a replacement in its current place with a bottle filler, which it currently does not have.
When Northern Plains was here, they talked about how it's currently not vented out. And you're supposed to have a vent with the cooler, and so that is additional on their bid.
Talking about a drain vent?
Mm-hmm, yes.
So Levy's bid,
Levy's
Quite.
bid is, when we asked Levy's to, bid, that they just rebid for placing it. When Dean from Northern Plains came, he mentioned that the current one is not vented, and for him to do it, he wants up to code. And then he'd want it vented.
Well, I think there's ways to vent without actually going through the roof. I mean, they make like under sink vents for, like sinks and stuff, so.
So,
Yeah, I agree. I move that we approve the Levy's plumbing bid for the water cooler for $1,953.83.
I'll second that. We could ask him about venting that drain, see what he has to say. It's very minor,
Yeah.
a couple of pieces of PVC and a little vent cap. Any other discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
aye.
Well,
Aye.
yes. Ms. Cabin, special liquor licenses.
Mr. Posey is requesting a special liquor license on June 9th for Lewis and Clark Days for his tent dance. It's in the spot that it normally is, just right beside the building there.
Basically the same as always.
Yep. I move that we approve the special liquor license for June 9th at Riverboat Days for the tent dance at Captain's Cabin. Seems a little wordy.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Well, you might.
Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Well,
Yes.
yes. Okay, another one.
Ron has a second date of 6/10. And 11. I was trying to read the writings, the 10th and the
10th.
8th.
God, but it looked to me like it was
I couldn't-
6/10 and 11/17. I thought, what?
I
So
thought
it's
there
10
was-
and
I think it's
11.
just the 10th.
It's 10 and 11, yeah.
Oh, for the after 1 o'clock, or after
Yeah.
12 o'clock, I
Yes.
should say,
Mhm.
okay.
And this is a different area, this is downtown. He'll be serving, on Main Street for Riverboat Days.
They're gonna have 2 bands that night.
Is that across the street from the post office?
Mhm.
Well, I move again that we give the special liquor license on the 10th and 11th for Riverboat Days to Captain's Cabin for Stella Crom's lot. Is that all that?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Keith?
Keep on rambling. Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Yes. You did such a good job, Keith. Riverboat Saloon.
Riverboat Saloon, on June 10th, from 12 PM to 1 AM, beer gardens during Riverboat Days.
I move that we give the special liquor license to Riverboat Saloon on June 10th for Riverboat Days from 12 PM to 1, so I guess it'd be June 10th and 11th.
Okay,
Second that.
any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Yes. One more.
Tyler's hosting the fishing derby. Riverboat Saloon is hosting the fishing derby on June 24th, and he's requesting a special liquor license from 12 PM to 1 AM. And this is on the property on 7th and 2nd Avenue.
So this is behind the bowling alley, correct?
Okay? Old lumberyard. lot.
might as well finish it out. Riverboat Saloon, I make a motion for a special liquor license on June 24th and 25th for the fishing derby on that lot from 12 to 1 a.m.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Is there gonna be like music or anything there, or
I'm kind of aware of.
I think so.
live
you do?
music? Fish fry by the fire department, live music,
Oh, I couldn't read it, yes.
beer and drink garden. Do we have to have permission from the neighbors for that?
I don't think so, just because, don't you think that when they do sometimes they have the beer garden right behind their house, right behind their business? And if we ask for permission for that, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess we can, people complain,
We get
we'll know
most
better
of it.
next year.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
No. Yes. Okay, special event permit. That's what I kind of threw at you guys last month, just look over. I don't know who all looked it over.
The only thing I would recommend on this is that I don't have an issue with it except for large events like riverboat days, possibly just being able to list what's going on instead of having to have a special permit for each and every activity.
Well,
Does
I
that make
think-
sense?
Yeah, but it's, it's the purpose and nature and location, I mean, you could just put it all in there.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, I
Yeah.
think that'd be absolutely just fine.
Yeah. I just don't wanna overdo it where we're doing
Oh,
it for the
no.
parade and we're doing it for this, you know what I mean?
Right, I agree with you, yeah, I agree 100% with that. Yeah. I can have David look it over and, and I think when I initially talked to him, he thought possibly maybe like an addendum to like the liquor permit, because then, permits are in the same place. So, okay. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I do, just this one.
Sure. So this is just a draft, can you change?
Oh. I can wait.
No, go ahead.
So for the special event permit then, so every time they'd want to have an event, they'd have to have one of these for each day. I mean, outside of like riverboat days or something.
Oh, I see what you mean. You'd be probably talking about like the go-karts.
Yeah.
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 Well, probably for each time, or else they could list several dates on there.
So would they be able to come in and get this repeatedly for every weekend of the summer?
It would still have to be okayed by the
It's not
city
be okay,
commission.
yeah.
They would still have to come back to us, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And so then with this, is there any type of, before the special event is approved, can there be a notification of the public prior, or is it just on the agenda that the public is notified? And so like for instance, with the band that's going to be downtown,
Right.
If those residents don't have the opportunity to say, no, we're not in favor of a band outside our bedroom.
That's a very good question.
Is there going to be a
and,
wait period or a notification period for the people that it's affecting?
And maybe this needs to be like a zoning change where you have to put it in the paper if you want to do
Yeah,
something. I don't know.
that'd be okay.
And they pay for the publication.
I mean, that's, why we're discussing it, I guess, to come up with
Yeah.
ideas.
And is there a fee for it?
We can discuss that. It's just a draft.
Yeah, and I guess on that is, then we're kind of getting into the weeds as far as, a community event versus a private event.
Right.
Maybe that should be one of the questions then,
Yeah.
that they fill out,
Yeah.
is it?
If it's public event, if it's run by the, public,
Mhm.
then you check that,
Yeah,
and then it doesn't need to be,
If it's for profit
It
for
doesn't
a
need to be
private
in the paper,
business,
yeah.
then.
it's a good point.
yeah. It's very good. We'll just want to work on it.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a difference between river road days and somebody having a band in the backyard.
Right.
You know. Okay. Any other thoughts? Anybody? We need to check on that, or?
I think it's a good start though.
Well, we'll do some adjustments, we'll bring it back. Thank you. Okay. The next one is I have we're gonna skip the next one till later. Okay, demolition permit for Atlanta
Erasmus.
Erasmus.
They are taking down a storage shed that's in their backyard. The work will be done by A&C Land Development.
Okay, where is this one?
It's down on Main Street as you're leaving, on the left-hand side.
Closets.
Yeah. Next to Ray Hager.
It's closets.
Oh, there, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Ray-
okay.
Ray will be happy with this one.
You know, I looked at this address of A&C Land Development, and I was like, Fifth Avenue. Put the wrong address, okay. All right. That's kind of an eyesore back there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem.
Is that the one half caving in?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I'll motion to approve the application for demolition. for Alana.
Okay,
I'll second that.
discussion, Keith,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Yes. Washburn Municipal Special Assessment Assistance Program application.
The application is in your packets. The amounts have changed a little bit. The income guidelines that we've, I think it's in your, yeah. They are amounts that have come from HUD, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
And this is what we normally go off of, right?
It is.
How much is it changing?
I can't
It has the
remember.
differences, and every difference between one line and two is 43.80. Between 2 and 3, 4.40. It goes down.
Oh, amount of income.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is this something you needed acted upon, or we just?
We ask for approval every year just because. We currently have $5,955 in the assessment assistance program. And that's left over from the initial $10,000 that we received from sales and use tax fund. I think we're on our third year.
I think so.
You said 59.55?
Yes. I'm sorry, we had one in 2017, so the current balance is 52.22. I forgot we had one just a few months ago. What we do with this then, once this is approved, we send it out to anyone who has received in the past, that's applied in the past, and then also the new project area. So everybody in the new project area will receive it. And then we put it out there for anybody in the other project areas that it's available if they would like to apply.
I move that we approve the Washburn Special Assessment Assistant Program, new figures.
Okay. I'll second that. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
yes. Quote for repainting old courthouse.
We had a bid in the paper for about 3 weeks. We received one quote back from a company out of Williston for $39,580. In 2006 was the last time that it was bid out, and it was about 3,000 was the winning bid.
So that was the last time it was painted?
2007.
Well,
I move that we deny all bids.
We still need that.
Okay.
Okay. Good motion, good second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion. Bit outrageous.
Yeah, I would really like to see it painted and everything, but yeah,
Yeah.
we could cite it for
Less.
less.
Yeah. Okay, Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
aye.
Well,
Aye.
yes. So, I guess we'll have to put a plan B on that one, huh? Whatever that is.
Yeah. We could, is it worth the time to run another, we only had one bid that whole entire time?
Yeah.
How was that advertised? Did we just put it in like paper, or how was that?
In the local paper. And then it went out onto a contracting bid service.
Okay.
So we had a lot of calls from Georgia and some other places.
Okay.
Is the reason we had so few bids is because of the having to be licensed, bonded, and all that type of
I
thing?
don't think so.
I'm just surprised nobody from local would want to jump on that.
Is anybody that paints local?
Not anymore, I don't think.
Not since Lyle quit, right?
Yeah, I don't think, yeah.
I'll have to keep looking, I guess.
Should run another round on,
We can, and I can expand it and take a look at the specs that I put in the paper and tweak them a little bit, and then we can.
Maybe put in the
change
Tribune
it.
too.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry?
Tribune too.
Sure.
As much Tribune.
thank you.
Wall tack lights. Assuming they're the ones above the doors.
Yeah, for Ninth, one lens had fell and broken. I think the south lens. And there's no replacement there, so this is just a bid to replace those with LED lights.
Now, which ones are these? Out here? Out?
Yeah, and on Ninth above the overhead doors. I think
Oh,
it's just
on
those.
shop?
Our shop.
Yeah, the
Okay.
shop. I think it's just those that Weber bid, did not bid the front.
Is there one in back also that's
Yes.
out?
No, it's not out, it works,
Okay.
but it's along the same design as those other ones.
Will that one be changed also, or just the ones along that?
I don't know if that's what you bid on or not.
Looks like there's a total of 4 on here.
3 garage doors and 1 walk-in door.
Yeah, I think they're all on that side. An idea that we could budget in 2018 for the remaining,
Right.
because I think it's the right thing to do to switch those out to LEDs as they
Yeah.
fail.
Yep.
So this was the bid from Weber Electric for $1,031.73 to replace 4 of them with LED wall packs.
And that's installed price, right? It's not bad. Okay, we have a motion to,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the installation of LED lights via this Weber Electric bid on the city office building.
above the shop doors.
Okay. A second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Yes. Okay. I'm holding off on this number 15 to go till after we talk to Jasper. A2S.
Good evening. If you remember back in April, I presented this brochure that kind of outlined what we came up with, looking at a number of alternatives for the raw water intake, and eventually landed on a conventional intake, which is the same as the city has now. Here we are a month later, wanting to move forward with preliminary engineering for a conventional intake, and kind of what came out of that study was a conventional intake, but not exactly sure where to put it. So part of moving forward with the preliminary engineering would be to investigate a few different sites, do the survey work both out in the water and on the land, do all the environmental solicitation and responses to those, and then prepare a 30% plan set. We also plan to provide you guys just a short tech memo summarizing, the final site that is picked and just the reasons why. Just in case somebody down the road is asking why the city put it there, I want a document in the file that says, you can be like, here, this is why those engineers chose that spot. So that's part of this as well. And then, like I said, this task order would get us up through 30% design of the intake. So we'll stop
And this task order is $180,000.
Yep.
And then the state pays 60%?
65% of that.
65%.
So basically, that would leave us with, $63,000, I believe it was, would be our share of this, if I add correctly. Get your calculator out, Jasper.
What, 117?
What's that?
Oh, I get the
117
Never mind,
by the
that's the
state.
state, that's
by the
the
state.
state.
It's a grant though, right?
Right. This is that grant, if we don't use, we lose, so.
63,000. So yeah, back in this document, we're looking at a total project cost of $2.8 to $3.5 million, with the city portion being roughly $1 million.
And this 63,000 would be part of that,
Yep,
maybe, correct?
yep. This task order and everything was all included in that total project cost.
So every task order is separated to that 65,
Yeah.
35 split?
Yep, and the reason that I'm only bringing preliminary engineering here today is because of the uncertainty of where the intake might go. Depending on, if you remember last time we talked about, basically the east side of the river or the west side of the river. And there's one site a little bit further north that I also want to look at. And final design, our final design kind of changes depending on where that site selection ends up being. So that's the reason for it just going through preliminary engineering.
Mhm.
So preliminary will wrap up November
Yep.
17th?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not gonna put you on the spot here, but how many years ago, because these are the questions that I'm being asked, how many years ago did we put the intake in that's there now?
In the 70s.
Didn't we do an change or something 10
An
years ago?
upgrade.
Upgrade?
Upgrade and, it was completed in 2010.
Okay, and what did we do back then?
You added a intake screen and structure out in the water.
Okay.
That, that infrastructure, as of right now, is planned to be reused.
Okay.
Put new pumps in, new electrical.
Okay, so we
Basically what's
didn't-
inside,
we
but the
didn't-
structure
yeah.
itself did not change
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
And the idea behind the project is to get a structure that's lower, so we can get another line out to a deeper part of the.
And I'm guessing the reason we didn't go all out and improve it like we're doing now is because of cost back then?
Yep, there was only,
I
and
thought
there
the
were,
intake was extended past that first pier in 2010.
it was like 15 feet,
Okay.
but it wasn't, you still can't get over the depth that the existing intake is at.
I think also the problem is since the flood, it changed
Yep.
the depth of the river. So whereas we used to be able to make water at 10,000 cubic feet, now it's what, 13,000 cubic feet per second? So,
So when they made those changes 10 years ago, they used the existing intake, maybe extended a little bit, but they couldn't have, unless they would have done a complete revamp, lowered it to the levels we would be talking.
Right.
Okay.
And there were actually some alternatives as part of that project that were, the city chose not to do,
Okay.
like putting an extra line out into the river, just because of the budget. The other part of, that's in this task order is some financial services. That portion is $15,000, and basically what that would do is kind of give the city a 5-year look at their financials, look at the upcoming debt, not only with the intake, but some other projects that you might have coming, and just make sure that the city is set up to not only take on this debt, but maybe, and the other debt that you're looking at, the other projects that you're looking at doing, and making sure that, basically, so that you don't go bankrupt. I don't know, I mean, it's kind of a second outside look. They would also help you with, this is our Nexus group that would do that. They kind of specialize in doing financial modeling. They'd also look at a couple different rate structures, that you guys could employ. I understand you haven't done anything with water rates for a couple of years now, and going into the future, you might need to look at that again, and they would provide you a couple examples of how that could look.
Okay, now just to make sure we're precise, this isn't about us being in financial trouble.
No.
This is about making sure we don't over leverage ourselves.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
just want to make sure that we have that straight.
And that financial service, that's not specific to this project, that's something that
Well, it sort of was,
came
yeah.
to us, that seems like that should be a package umbrella deal from AE2S, and it seems like it's looped in with this task order for that project.
It is, and, I mean, part of that is to have the opportunity for it to be included under the grant. I can't say for sure that it will be.
And can I bring you back real quick again?
Yep.
Okay, I know the answer, but I want to make sure everybody else does as well. Why would we need the new intake? Tell us what would happen if we had a drought with the existing intake we have.
Well, basically with the existing intake right now, when the water levels get down to about, or when the flow in the river gets down to about 13 to 14,000 CFS, you can't get water into your intake enough for the water plant to run. And over the last couple of years, Adam has spent a number of days where he couldn't run the water plant because he couldn't get water into the plant. And he kind of makes it work where he runs the plant when there's water available, and but you go into a drought scenario And it wouldn't take that much of a drought to get to 13,000 CFS. Not to mention a significant drought, you guys would definitely be high and dry.
Okay.
So this project is to get a lower intake so that we can get another intake line out in the river into a better spot, a deeper spot.
And if we don't use the 65%, you know, because we've been working on this for a period of time, that 65% is just about ready to dry up on us.
Yep. So I think if you don't move forward with the project, I think it's, at that point, you need to tell the State Water Commission that, you know, you're you're electing not to use the funds, and
Okay.
so somebody else can.
They're very ready to take it and
Yeah.
move it someplace else.
Yeah,
I really think we should go with the preliminary engineering. You know, and then I was going to say, you know, we could request those use tax funds for our 35%. You know, for that part,
For this task order?
yeah. And I don't know if that financial services should be lumped in with this or not, because quite honestly, I don't know if they're gonna, what are they gonna say if they see that in there and they go, oh, you can't throw that in there? You know, are they gonna think we're trying to pull something, or, I mean, I don't know.
we're gonna say that you can't use the grant funds for that.
Yeah.
That portion of it, I mean, can be pulled out
Right.
and revisited at any time. I mean, it's not, it doesn't have to be done right now.
Right.
but-
Okay. Yeah, I move that we go ahead with the preliminary engineering and our, I guess it'd be 35%. Which would be $63,000.
Mhm. And that's just preliminary engineering, not the financial aid?
Right.
Okay. Okay, do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay.
And we've talked before that, you know, that doesn't mean I'm gonna be 100% in favor of this if
All right.
our rates are going to go up substantially. But I think we can do this and still keep our rates reasonable.
I agree. At least we know where we stand.
Right.
Yeah.
Who seconded?
Reese? Any other discussion? Okay, Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Yes.
I just want to say one more thing, I guess, about the financial services. Kind of what brought that about was some of the discussion about using $1 million of available funds, and just making sure the city looks at that and, you know, makes best use of that $1 million. And certainly that's something you guys can do in-house too, so.
And again, we were talking about that that's a possibility.
Yep.
At no point did we ever say that was what was going to happen.
Yep.
Okay.
All the other things, I guess, that I mentioned last time, the sidewalks, seal coating, patching, those are all kind of in the works.
So we should see stuff really quick here, is what you're saying?
Coming up, I would recommend if somebody, maybe I'll volunteer Larry, if you could check with Dave Lundell on his review of the sidewalk contracts.
I can talk to him tomorrow.
Because that's still out there for, you awarded it to Wagner, but they don't have a contract in place to do it. So.
And then we'll talk maybe coming meetings about that financial.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, this is something, that
So
if
it's
we
not
go with
bad.
this, it's not gonna be funded for
Right.
at least a year.
Right.
So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions for Justin? Which brings us back to requests for sales and use funds. And I'm gonna recommend that we go to sales and use for $63,000 for our share of the task order.
Is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
yes. Okay. Portfolios.
Well, that pretty much did it.
Reese?
The airport authority is planning to meet June 7th at 5:30 at the airport, and the library board will be meeting on the 30th of May at 6:30 at the library. Other than that, I will touch base with the two individuals who want to look into the kitchen project in the Memorial Hall. Otherwise, that's it.
Austin? No?
Nothing.
I have nothing. John?
The lights at the Memorial Building have been changed out. We had some problem with the overhead lights, the Cree lights. They say we had a bad lot of lights. So all those have been replaced at no charge. And we're hoping most of the electrical will be taken care of also by the company, so. And then also, Carla Bickert has resigned from the Sales and Use Tax Fund. She filled a position from the Washburn Civic Club, and so I will be contacting the Civic Club and letting them know that they have a position that needs to be filled, and hopefully we can get that taken care of before our next meeting in June. And then the Special Assessment Committee for this 2016 street and utility projects will hopefully be meeting here in the next week or two again, so. And we will start that process also.
Same members, there hasn't been any.
It is, yep, same
Resignations.
members, yep. Dennis Van Horn, Mark Loam, and Sue Winter are the assessment members.
And you'll have to set up another sales and use tax meeting, so.
Yep, do we want to wait until we get that member on the board? And since it's not really a rush,
Oh, yeah, I guess we wouldn't have to pay for this for a while, right?
and it's going to stay in the sales and use tax fund anyway.
I guess maybe a discussion about, you know, if you're gonna plan to ask for more from sales and use for this project coming up, whether it's again this year or again next year. Cause it's not, you know, you did the alternatives evaluation, which you had 35% of that, and I think once we select a site, we wanna get a geotech on board. Probably yet this year. So, I mean, there's still other costs associated with this project that are gonna happen, and
That's not included in there?
it's one of those things that I don't know what to expect. I mean, depending on where it's gonna be.
So is that a separate task order at that point in time if you identify
I
those
will have,
additional?
yeah, geotechnical, I would have a contract directly with the city.
So, like I said, we don't need to pay you guys for a while for this 60 days.
Correct.
Okay.
So we can wait a while. Okay, that's fine. The only thing is, I mean, if somebody else comes in and wants, I guess if somebody else comes in and wants funds, then we can just add it on with that anyway. So, let's play it by ear, I guess.
Right.
We don't want to give all
I
the
guess
funds
now-
to somebody else, then we have nothing.
And I brought this up last meeting, but now that the city is moving forward with at least this portion of it, I could give you a much more comprehensive summary of what you'd be looking at spending on this project in 2017.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that would help, because what we're looking at tonight was just this task order.
Yep.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Anything else, John?
No, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Turk? Pay bills?
I move that we accept and pay the bills.
Second.
Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.